Hey there, Nation, and welcome to the show where we help you to play miniatures wargaming on a budget. It is I, Commander Cheapskate, and we are back with another episode of From Hell, our series that is dedicated to Reign in Hell battle reports. And this is battle report number 6. It is a twin scenario that is fought between the empty as well as broker philosophies. My buddy O'Death is bringing all his dust, his empty cabal, and I'll be bringing the Ethereal Bank of Vykos, my broker's cabal. Now, if you guys will take a look at the next photos that take place here soon with the rosters as well, you'll notice that a lot of the names of the rosters for my broker's cabal have actually changed quite a bit. And the reason why is just because I wasn't really feeling it narratively speaking with the names I'd given to most of my cabal members. I managed to get the Grimwatch warband for Warhammer Underworld's Beastgrave, the Grimwatch. I was able to get those guys actually secondhand for a pretty good price. And so because that, I painted up those guys from that warband and I decided to use them in this game because, you know, the brokers are supposed to be like wheelers and dealers and kind of like bankers and merchants. And it just kind of had like a really cool flesh eater courts vibe to me. So I thought it'd be really cool to place my miniatures with those guys instead. So by doing so, I've actually changed up quite a bit of the names of my members of my roster. Now their stats are exactly the same from the previous battle report. I just changed their names for the most part. So if you're wondering what's up the difference between the previous battle report that I played with this one, and you're wondering what's up the name differences, that's pretty much what it is. So with that being said, we're going to play some background music real quick. As we're playing the music, we'll show you photos of both cabals as well as the rosters. If you want to see exactly what they're bringing for this one, go ahead and pause and take a look at your own leisure. So that being said, let's get this battle report on a roll. Alright, so the scenario for this one is called the Twins. The setup, there are basically two objectives. If a demon moves onto an objective and the other is not claimed, then they may choose to claim it. The objective moves with the demon until the demon is slain. Then the objective remains where the demon died. The demon can then choose to destroy instead of making an attack. So pretty much how it works is that for this scenario to work, what you have to do is you have to have a demon pick up the objective, and what they do is that they find the other demon that has the other objective, and you have to destroy that as well. That's the only way you can do that. Now the game lasts 5 turns, and the winner is the cabal that destroys an objective, and if no cabals destroys an objective, then the game is a draw. The rewards: if a cabal wins, they may reroll 1 additional time on the relic table at the end of the game. And that's pretty much the scenario rules on this one. Now I will warn you guys ahead of time, this is the very first time my friends and I actually played this scenario as well, so we did make a mistake on the rules, and it's actually going to have a really big effect on the overall battle. The idea is that as we played it, we originally thought that you could actually trade the objective between different demons, and so that's what we did. We took a look at the rules again, we realized, oh, you're not supposed to be able to do that. It stays with the demon until that demon is dead. So we did make a rules mistake on that part, so we do apologize for that ahead of time. After all, this is the very first time I play this scenario. It's a new game to us, and we're going to make some mistakes sometimes. So with the scenario rules, let's go on and talk about the battle plan as well as deployment. So here's an overhead shot of the entirety of the battlefield. As you can see, we are playing on a Warcry sized terrain piece. We have terrain pieces on all 4 corners as well as a wall cutting pretty much through the center of the entirety of the battlefield as well. In the center, we have our 2 objective markers represented by the 2 relic markers from Warcry. I'm deployed on the bottom left-hand side, and my buddy O'Death is deployed on the upper right-hand corner as well. So pretty much my plan, and I know I made a mistake doing this, but you know, like I said before, I prefaced that earlier with the scenario rules. Ideally, how it's supposed to work is that you grab the objective, you can't get rid of it until the demon is carrying is dead. That's how the rule is supposed to work. We thought that you could actually trade the objective between people for some strange reason. We thought we could do that, so I do apologize for that. So what my plan is basically is to secure my objective with my Mephet and have my Mephet take that objective and kind of pull it back to my area where I plan on playing pretty defensively. The last time I actually played a battle report, my broker's warband was designed to be more defensive, and since I did that for the most part, I decided to keep trying that tactic out by playing defensively, make my opponent come to me, take him out on my terms, and hopefully at the same time rack up some additional souls, because everyone knows a broker's warband strength is generating souls that you can use for rewards later on. And that's pretty much what my battle plan on this one is. Now for my buddy O'Death, he talked to me after the game. His plan was to secure his objective as well and to hand off his objective directly to his leader demon, because his leader demon has the ability to basically teleport using that one with nothing ability. So his plan was to take that relic, use his one with nothing ability to attack my demon who's holding the relic and destroy him that way. And that's pretty much what our battle plans for this one were. So the battle plan's over. Let's go and talk about deployment real fast. So here's a close-up of my deployment area for the Ethereal Bank of Vykos, and as you can see, my warband looks a little bit different because once again, like I said before, I recently managed to get the Warhammer Underworld's Beastgrave Grimwatch miniatures for secondhand, so I decided to paint those guys up and use them for my warband because I thought narratively it worked better for my Broker's Cabal. So up in the front there on the top of the ruins, that is called the Duke's Harriers. It is a lesser demon, it's a Mephet, it's got the fly as well as sting and roll special rule. Right next to him on the left-hand side, that is my leader, Duke Grimwatch. He's my leader demon. He's got Origin Soul, which means he has 2 essences at character creation. His 2 essences are Unyielding Essence, giving him +2 to his life, as well as Regenerating Soul, which means that every time he's activated, he also heals a life as well. He's got the Master Manipulator ability, as well as Infernal Armor, which means he always takes 1 less damage in close combat. Now right behind him we have Gristelvel. He is a lesser demon who's also my Slaughter Fiend. He's got the Paragons of Slaughter special rule. Right next to him on the left hand side, that is the Knight's Herald, which is my armored demon. He's a lesser demon as well. He's got Steely Skin, which means that one of his defensive rolls automatically becomes a 6. And I've also equipped him with the Bloodstained Gauntlet, which means every single time a 6 is rolled, he actually causes 1 damage to his enemy during defensive rolls. And then right next to him on the left hand side, that is Valrique. That's my Spine demon. She's got the Impaling Charge ability, and this is her very first battle report for my team as well. Now, right below them on the base of that stairway there, we have 2 my Corpulent demon. We have Balefire as well as Master Talon. Balefire is the guy who's right next to the stairs. He's a Corpulent demon, and right beneath him is Balefire, Master Talon, who is another Corpulent demon. Right behind them is Crackmarrow, which is my Devout demon. He's my Tally Man. He's got the Balance, the Scales ability, as well as attack scaling mechanic. And up in the front on the right hand side, that is the Royal Butcher. He is my Tentacle Beast. And that pretty much makes up my deployment for this one. So on the right hand side, we have the deployment for All Is Dust, which is the Empty Cabal. So on the upper left hand corner, that character is Skrakalikos. He is a leader demon. He's got 1 with nothing special mechanic. He's also a Zealot. He's also got the Frenzy special rule, the Eternal Mind rule, which basically means you can reroll 1 initiative dice every single activation turn. And he's also got the Token of Lennox, which means that once per round he can reroll 1 of his dice as well. Right next to him on the right hand side, that character's name is Ackle Hellbrass. He is a Slaughter Fiend. He has the Paragons of Slaughter special rule, as well as the Essence of Luck, which means you can reroll 1 combat attack roll with a 6. Up in the right hand next to him on the right hand side, that is Innistrad, who is a Devout demon. He's also a Void demon. He's got 1 with nothing special rule. He's also got the Oblivion game mechanic. He also has the Reliquary, which means that once per battle, he can add 1 movement and 1 combat score until the end of his activation. Now, right in front of Innistrad are 3 Tentacle Beasts. We have Fail, Spiderflux, as well as Bastet. And up there on the top of the ruins, we have another Mephet named Screamer. And he is a Mephet, and he's also got the Fly and Sting special rule. And that pretty much makes up the deployment for this one. So with deployment over with, we go directly to the top of turn number 1, and both O'Death and I roll our initiative dice to see which order we'll be activating in. Alright, so that takes us directly to the top of turn number 1, and as you can see, these are our initiative dice that we have for activations. So you can take a moment and take a look at that. So for his very first activation, my buddy O'Death sends in the Screamer, who does a fly directly to his relic in the middle of the table of his deployment area, and he managed to secure that one. And for my next activation, activate the Duke's Harrier, who does exactly the same thing. He flies to my objective marker on my side of the table, and I also secured that one as well. So for the rest of my activations, I actually got quite a bit off on this one. So as you can see, I pretty much send most of my forces forward in order to start occupying that gap between the wall there that's in the middle of the table to defend it. So the taking point, I have Duke Grimwatch. He basically moves up there in order to secure that. Same thing with the Royal Butcher, my Tentacle Beast. He closes up there on the right-hand side. And then right behind him, of course, I have Gristelveld. I also have Valrique, as well as a Knight's Herald catching up as quick as they can, right behind my leader, Duke Grimwatch. And as you can see, I do exactly the same thing on the bottom right-hand side, activating my two Corpulent demons, Master Talon as well as Balefire. They move as quick as they can to go over to the right-hand side, and they're followed close behind by Crackmarrow, which is my Tally Man. Meanwhile, when it comes to the All Is Dust, as you see, Skrakalikos moves up as quick as he can, heading directly towards the Screamer, so that way he can get that relic handed off to him, and he's followed by Ackle Hellbrass right behind. At the same time, the 3 Tentacle Beasts, Fail, Bastet, as well as Spiderflux take point, moving as quick as they can directly towards the center of the battlefield, with Innistrad closely in tow. So here's an overhead shot at the end of turn number 1. As I said before, it's a pretty much lackluster turn, and the reason why is because the 2 of us are just kind of moving our forces for this turn, just moving up as quick as they can in order to get into position to fight one another. Like I said, my plan is to actually have my opponent funnel through that little gap in the wall in the center of the battlefield. So my plan is to basically create like a defensive position around my Duke's Harriers, so that way the relic is protected, and then just defeat my enemies as they kind of go across that wall. I'm planning on kind of doing what's called a reverse slope defense, where I basically limit my enemies' attacks either by bottlenecking or having a situation where they can only come at me one at a time. I have numbers in this scenario, so I have the most numbers at the same time. That way I can overwhelm my opponent by doing coordinated attacks. The problem that I ran into last time that I played my very first game is I didn't do that very much, and so because of that, my guys got slaughtered for the most part. So say what you will, Commander Cheapskate learns from his mistakes. So with that, we go directly to the top of turn number 2, and these are the activation dice that we rolled for both of our cabals. We have the brokers on the top as well as the empty on the bottom. So the very first thing I do, of course, I activate the Duke Carriers, my Mephet. I basically have him move way back directly towards my corner of the battlefield, where basically my two Corpulent Demons, Master Talon, Balefire, as well as my Tallyman Crackmarrow can kind of surround and protect my Duke's Harriers from harm. Like I said, I'm primarily planning on playing defensively this time around, and I'm pretty much kind of just going to try to stick together for most of my cabal, so that way we can kind of buff each other out and just kind of help each other in close combat. And as for my friend Odeth, as you can see, we actually kind of made a mistake on the rules. The idea is supposed to be that once the demon has the objective, they can't let go of it at all until they're killed, and that's how the rules are written. And for whatever reason, we thought we didn't have to do that. We thought we could hand them off between our demons. So I do apologize for that. It's a rules mistake. We're going to make quite a bit of them as we're learning this game. So the first thing that my buddy Darklord Mac does is that he activates the Screamer, who basically flies backward with his objective, and he hands it off to the leader demon, Squarkalikos. So Squarkalikos uses his action in order to pick up that relic. That's what we thought was supposed to happen, but like I said before, you're not supposed to do that. Our mistake. At the same time, he also sends up the rest of his guys as well. As you can see, his 3 tentacle beasts make their way directly to the wall in the center of the battlefield, with Innistrad right behind and in tow. And for my next couple activations, you can see here, I start making a defensive perimeter around my Duke's Harriers. I do realize that my opponent, Odeth, does have the one with nothing ability, which means that his leader can teleport and, get in good position to charge against my Duke's Harriers. So I realize that no matter where I put my Duke's Harriers, they're not going to be protected from being attacked by Squarkalikos. So I decided instead I can kind of create a shield wall around them using my own fighters, and that's exactly what I do. I put my Corpulent Demons, Master Talon, as well as Balefire up in the front to kind of block off the front and right hand approaches. At the same time, I take my Tallyman Crackmarrow to cover his 6 for the most part. And during my next activation, then activate the Royal Butcher, which is my Tentacle Beast, and he also does exactly the same thing, skirting around to the bottom right hand corner to protect him from harm from that direction. Meanwhile, on the top of the table, as you can see here, Cold Hellbreast moves up in order to join the rest of his brethren in order to cross that main line into my deployment half of the table. And for my next activation, activate Duke Grimwatch, my leader. So basically I have him kind of move over to the right hand side as well to kind of protect the Duke's Harriers from being harmed. And for the rest of my activations, I start moving my other 3 remaining demons directly towards the gap. I have Valric taking point from my Spine Demon. At the same time, I also have Griselvel kind of scoot around the right-hand side, making his way directly towards the Duke's Harriers. As you can see, I have my slow-go and Armored Demon, the Knight's Herald, moving up as quick as he can in order to catch up for the rest of the group. And that pretty much ends turn number 2 for this one. So here's an overhead shot of the entirety of the table at the end of turn number 2. As you can see, I'm starting to take up my defensive position on my half of the deployment area, protecting my Duke's Harriers from being harmed. At the same time, I also have my 3 lesser demons, my Spine Demon, my Armored Demon, as well as my Slaughter Fiend kind of taking point, kind of acting as a buffer to prevent anybody coming through to attack them from the front. At the same time, as you can see, my buddy Odeth is starting to send his forces forward directly to that main battle line. At the same time, he also handed off his relic, which we made a mistake on for the rules, but Sylvie. And so his leader, demon Squarkalikos, has it. He's getting ready to teleport for his next turn. So with turn number 2 over with, we go directly to the top of turn number 3, and we roll off our activation dice to see which of us will be going first. Alright, so it takes directly to the top of turn number 3, and this is the activation dice that we rolled for that turn. So you can see there the brokers on the top and the empty on the bottom. So the first thing my friend Odeth does, he decides to use his one with nothing ability for Squarkalikos. Squarkalikos burns up one of his initiative dice. At the same time, he goes off the table to become one with nothing, so that way he can teleport anywhere he wants, so long as he's not within 3 inches of an enemy. Meanwhile, I believe the guy's name is Spiderflux. Spiderflux, the tentacle beast, he does a charging attack directly into Valric, which is my Spine Demon, which is actually kind of a smart play because Valric gets some mad bonuses when she does her bellying charge attack. So because that she gets attacked by Spiderflux, he manages to put 1 wound directly onto her. So not to be outdone, I then activate the Knight's Herald, my Armored Demon. I do a charging attack directly into Spiderflux as well. When it was all said and done, I managed to put 5 wounds onto that tentacle beast, which is all fantastic. As for my next activation, then activate Grisaveld, my Slaughter Fiend. He charges directly to the right hand side of Spiderflux as well and does a charging attack to him and managed to finish him off with the last few blows. So that part was awesome. So not only did I kill Spiderflux, I also got myself a Soul dice, which is also all kinds of awesome as well. That Soul dice came in as a 5, and then I rolled my D6 for my Tip the Scales ability, and pretty much how that works is that for a Broker's Warband, for every 5 up you get a bonus additional soul die. So I got a second one. This one was a 1, however. So either way, though, it was all good because I managed getting 2 soul dice at the same time. And at the same time as well, I also managed to increase my attack score up by 1 for slaying Spiderflux. So everything is looking really good right now for my brokers. So not to be outdone, Odette then does a charging attack with Fail, one of his tentacle beasts, and unfortunately for him though, he kind of flubbed his rolls for the most part, so he was unable to cause any damage whatsoever to Grisaveld, so that part was absolutely fantastic. And for my next activation, I activate my leader, Duke Grimwatch, and he basically moves to the other side of the table, right on the other side of the Duke's Harriers, protecting his 6 o'clock. So now as you can see, I have 5 demons in a perfect circular defensive position around my Duke's Harriers. Hopefully I can protect them from harm being charged by Skorkalikos in the next turn. So his next activation, Odette decides to activate Innistrad to charge directly into the Knight's Herald, my armor demon, and as you can see, you're managed to put 1 wound directly onto my armor demon, so that part was kind of sad. However though, I managed to put 4 wounds back on Innistrad, which is absolutely fantastic, and the reason why I was able to do that is because of my Steely Skin ability, which basically means that when I roll, I get 1 d6 automatically, and with my Bloodstained Gauntlet, for every 6 I roll on the defense, I cause 1 damage to my enemy. So when I rolled my defensive dice, I rolled all 4 of them. It was originally supposed to be 5, but I'm right next to the Tentacle Beast, so it actually drops it down to 4. So I rolled my 4d6, and I rolled 4 6s, which is absolutely fantastic. So because of that, basically took 1 damage because I couldn't stop them all, but I put 4 damage right on Innistrad, so it's kind of like, wow, fantastic. It was a really good plan to put that Bloodstained Gauntlet directly onto my armor demon. So carrying on those attacks, of course, he then sends in his other Tentacle Beast, Bastat. He charges directly into Grisaveld, and unfortunately for me, though, he managed to put 4 wounds onto Grisaveld, my Slaughter Fiend. So that part was kind of sad. And then for Odette's very last activation, he then activates Ackled Hellbrass, who basically just moves up in order to bring up some support, so that way he can charge in during his next turn, and basically it looks like he's going to try to finish off my Slaughter Fiend, Grisaveld. So that part would be kind of sad as well. And with that, that takes directly to the end of turn number 3. So here's an overhead shot of the entirety of the battlefield. As you can see, a lot of fighting is going on right there in the middle of the battlefield past the defensive line. Innistrad, as well as Ackled Hellbrass, as well as Fail, as well as Bastet. They're moving up forward to try to cause as much harm as they possibly can. My 3 demons are left up with their Grisaveld, as well as Valrique and the Knight's Herald. They're actually doing pretty good, all things considered, considering that they're all kind of outnumbered. I'm really impressed with the Night Herald. His Steely Skin ability combined with the Bloodstained Gauntlets proving to be very deadly, especially when my opponents attack him. At the same time, I also managed to raise up 2 soul dice as well as 4 points attacks. And as you can see, I also have my fighters defending my Duke's Harriers. And so that's pretty much how it works for this part. So with that over with, we go directly to the top of turn number 4. And once again, Odette and I roll off our activation dice to see which of us will be going first. Alright, so it takes us directly to the top of turn number 4. So here is our list of activations, as you can see in this one here. So the first thing that ends up happening is I decide to activate Master Talon. My Corpulent Demon decides to take the relic away from the Duke's Harriers. And the reason why I did that is because, like I said before, we thought we could actually hand off different relics to different fighters. So I was afraid that my Duke's Harriers were going to get, really thrashed, because even though I have a good defensive position around him with the other fighters, Skorkalikos could still slip in there, still cause damage. So I wanted to hand off my relic to somebody who could actually carry it, and so I decided to hand it off to my Corpulent Demon, Master Talon, because he's got 15 life. So if any combatant survive attacks, it's going to be him. So for Odette's very first activation, he activates Skorkalikos, who then reappears on the table 3 inches away from Master Talon, and he charges forward with a charging attack and managed to put 6 wounds right off the bat directly onto Master Talon. So that part was kind of sad. But then again, I can regenerate 2 life every single time I activate my Corpulent Demon, so it's not all over yet. So for my next activation, to set the table, I activate Grisaveld, who does a focus combat roll directly onto, I believe that character's name is Fail, is his name. Managed to put a couple of wounds on that guy as well, so that part was kind of awesome. At the same time, my opponent then also activates his Slaughter Fiend, Ackled Hellbrass, and as you can see here, managed to put a total of 9 wounds directly onto my Grisaveld, so that part's kind of sad because he's only 1 point from being killed real fast. And meanwhile, then for my next activation, then activate Valrique, who does a charging attack directly into Fail, and I managed to kill off that Tentacle Beast and kill that character as well. So for that one, I rolled again for the soul dice for killing a demon. I managed to get another 5, so that part was awesome. I then rolled another d6, got a 5 again, and got a 1 for my other soul dice. And now it brings my soul dice up to 4, and I forgot to take a photo of it, but I also increased my attack score by 1. So for my next couple activations over here, I once again activate Master Talon, who does manage to heal 2 of his life and tries to fight back, and I also do nothing in close combat. I then send in my Tentacle Beast, the Royal Butcher, as well, doing a charge attack directly on the Kalikos, and I was able to put 1 wound on that guy, so that part was really sad as well. Meanwhile, over here on the top of the table, a couple of blows later for activations between the Knight's Herald as well as Innistrad. In the end, I was able to put 1 more wound on Innistrad with the Knight's Herald. At the same time, the Knight's Herald took 5 wounds, so that part was kind of sad. However, he does have 13 life though, so he's doing pretty good. So no harm, no foul there. Oh, Death then activates the Screamer, does a running skirmish directly against the Knight's Herald. But unfortunately for him, though, he failed it managed to cause no damage, and the reason why is because I was able to roll a 6, which basically protected me from that 1 damage he inflicted. But because I got the Bloodstained Gauntlet, I put a wound directly onto Screamer, so that part was really, really epic. So with that, basically what ended up happening is that I decided to go into some more of my attacks. I decided to activate the rest of my fighters. So I do a combination of attacks directly into Kalikos. I do a running skirmish with the Duke's Harriers, who I think puts a wound on him as well. And between the combined attacks between my leader, Duke Grimwatch, my Tallyman, Crackmarrow, as well as Bellfire, my Corpulent Demon, they all do charge attacks directly into Kalikos, and through the combination of attacks we have, we managed to kill that guy. In the end, I believe it was the Tallyman Crackmarrow was the one to actually pull out the very last killing blow on him. So just like that, Kalikos goes down for the count, and he is dead. And as you can see, here's an overhead shot of the entirety of the battlefield after the end of turn number 5. I do manage to get an additional soul dice from killing Kalikos, but I don't get a bonus one. The reason why is because I failed to roll off my attack score on that one. So because of that, nothing much happens there. So as you can see right here in the middle, Kalikos is dead, so his relic is now open to being grabbed, which I plan on doing for the very next turn. At the same time, a whole huge melee is breaking out there right in the middle of the battlefield as well. So with that being said, we go directly to the top of turn number 5. We roll for activation to see which of us will be going first. So as you can see, this is the top of turn number 5, and these were the dice that we rolled for activation dice. As you can see, I have 2 12s starting off the bat, so because of that, I will be going first. And obviously, the first thing I do, of course, is I send in Master Talon, my Corpulent Demon, who is carrying his relic. He does a charging attack to the other relic that Kalikos dropped, and I manage to destroy it, thus ending the game. And just like that, as you can see, this brings us directly to the end of the game, with the Brokers winning their very first victory in this campaign, which is all kinds of awesome. Because unfortunately, for my very first game, I actually lost my very first game. It was a really good learning experience for me, and I decided to use those skills for my second game, so that part was really nice as well. So with that being said, we'll go directly to the post game, because this battle report is now officially over. Alright, so for us, first off, we have All Is Dust. For the All Is Dust, they actually lost 3 members in this battle report, which is Kalikos, Fail, as well as Spiderflux. Kalikos got Chaos Power, which means he gets +1 to his combat score, so he actually got a little bit better for this damage. Meanwhile, Fail rolled Twisted, which means he lost 1 point to his movement characteristic, but got +1 to his combat score, and Spiderflux rolled no effect whatsoever. For the rewards, unfortunately for my buddy Oh Death, he did not roll up any rewards for this turn, and at the same time earned no titles, no advancements, and recruited nobody at this time as well. And basically that brings up his new record at 0 wins as well as 2 losses. Now for my warband, the Ethereal Bank of Vykos, for my soul loss, nobody got killed in this one, so I didn't have to worry about rolling for the soul loss. For my rewards though, I did manage to secure 30 souls by the time it was all said and done, and that was because of the 5 dice that I had secured, soul dice I had secured during this battle as well. I also earned 1 relic from the scenario as well because I destroyed the twins, so because of that I got a lucky charm, which means that whenever I make a combat roll, I can re-roll a single dice. I decided to give that lucky charm directly to Gristelveld. Now for my rewards, at the same time I also got 2 rolls for relic on the 2 rolls on the relic table. My first relic was another lucky charm, lucky charm, and I give that for that. I give that one to Valric, my spine demon. At the same time, I also rolled a armor of fortitude, which gives you +2 life. So because of that, I gave that one to my Tallyman, Crackmarrow. So he's now life 13 instead of life 11, which is pretty cool. Now for titles, I did not own any titles during this time period, and for advancements, my leader, Duke Grimwatch, he actually leveled up, and he got +1 to his combat roll, so now he's actually combat 6, which is kind of nice. As for recruitments and expeditions, I decided not to fund any during this time period, and my new record now is at 1 win and 0 losses. So there you guys, this is going to be it for Battle Report number 6. As always, please feel free to like, comment, and or subscribe. Your guys' input is valuable to us as always. Also check us out on Facebook, Instagram, as well as blogger.com for all the latest, greatest hobby news related to our channel. That's good for this one, you guys. We'll catch you guys next one. Peace out and stay classy.